something you can't fix.
If you can't fix what's broken, you'll go insane.
It's Jay and Adam. It's Preview.
It's Preview's Fix It with Adam and Jay.
Hey, peaches! Oh, welcome to Fix It, where friends don't let friends fix pop culture alone.
I'm Adam.
And I'm Jay, and you're our listeners.
Hey there, listeners.
Ho there, listeners.
Merry Christmas, you filthy listeners.
Keep the change, listeners.
No, you should, keep the change.
You filthy listeners. But you already said the filthy listeners part.
I did.
And I realized I combined the two movies into one thing.
You did.
And that wasn't, and that just cannot be. That cannot stand. You can't cross the Home Alone time streams.
No, one takes place in Chicago, one takes place in New York.
Yeah. But they all are also so similar that the second one feels like it's like Back to the Future 2, kind of. Or it feels like in Spider-Verse, they're like, these are canon events. It's like you can't have a Home Alone movie without certain factors.
Yes, which is
You know
why
what I
they're
mean?
like, oh, here's an empty brownstone.
And it's like, Kevin, you can only win. You can only win against these two yahoos if you set up the story to have certain parameters.
Mm-hmm.
Is the only way you will find victory in this timeline. Anyways, hi everybody. I'm Jay. That's Adam. You may know us from the wildly popular YouTube channel Previewed, where Adam and I react, review, and riff and rate all of your favorite nerd pop culture shows. Or you may know us from being your hang glider instructor today. Strap in, everybody. We're going flying. you know?
Oh, God. Okay.
Oh, man. Have you seen that video of the people that
Weren't
clipped in? They were like, and that video got shared around like, isn't this funny? And I was like, no, that's the worst nightmare video. This is not like, it went viral, isn't it wild? And I'm like, no, it's that is
Either
not
way,
what we do.
hang gliding, if you're strapped in or not, like, if you're strapped in and that something goes bad, like, you can't get out, you're going down with the wing. If you're not strapped in, like, you could fall out, it's just a nightmare.
Yeah.
It's just a nightmare.
It's also something I could see you being really into. You know?
Yeah, but at the same time,
Sometimes I'm like, man,
you
Adam
can't
needs
bail out of that, though.
Sometimes I'm like, Adam really needs a hobby, and then I'm like, yeah, but be careful what you wish for. He might find a hobby that like is he's gonna want to include you in, and you're not gonna want to go.
Come on, Jay. Let's go tempt fate in the sky.
Hooray! The power of wind. I'm basically Kite Man. That doesn't feel good.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. This is our podcast Fix It, where every week Adam and I take a piece of pop culture that maybe missed the mark, maybe didn't quite get there, maybe just took a break to the face, and we fix it. All I will say is, having watched...
You watched 2 last night,
I watched
right?
2 last night
Yeah.
with the Discord.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel Stearns. It's Daniel Stearns, right?
Yes.
The comedic brilliance of him taking 4 bricks to the face in that film. Like the fact that he was not nominated for anything.
Yeah.
It's a crime.
Yeah.
This week, Adam and I, as it is the holiday season, we're getting ready for the holidays, and isn't that so exciting?
Which holiday, Jay?
American Christmas. American Christmas.
There you go.
Yes.
You put some stank on that.
Yeah, that's right, baby.
You're the one that started this bit.
I
Come
know,
on now.
I know. I am talking nativity scene out in front of that old Catholic church so the rascals in the town stole the model of little baby Jesus, and it makes the paper American Christmas. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
I am saying what's his name from The Walking Dead dropping cue cards outside of Princess Amidala's house. American Christmas.
That's the same guy?
Dude, that's what's his name from Walking Dead. Yeah.
No.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
I never put that together.
Yeah, and it's Ejiofor is his friend. Yeah. Yeah, Love Actually, I actually completely despise that movie, but I'll be damned if it doesn't have some
Wow.
iconic moments and a good cast.
Yeah, it's a terrible story.
But we are going to be fixing, well, not necessarily fixing a movie per se, because I think people maybe have come in here thinking we're going to be fixing Home Alone 3, the movie that already exists.
Yes, the one with the not Kevin McCallister.
Well, we are technically going to be fixing that movie in that we are going to be today. Adam and I have both prepared a third in the trilogy of the Kevin McCallister Home Alone series.
Yep.
We are going to be writing. We have written a film that would dare I say complete the trilogy.
Yes, Macaulay Culkin in another Home Alone film, Home Alone 3, completing the story.
Yes, indeed.
Because 2 is a terrible ending. Like, it's like happy and everything, but it's like we just did the same thing. Is it? We can't just leave it here.
It's kind of just insane to me how iconic those two movies are.
Yes.
That they didn't try to go for a third. Do you know what I'm saying? Even Back to the Future went to the Wild West around the same time. So it's kind of buck wild to me that they didn't try to milk that horse one more time. You know, everyone's out there milking horses. Yeah.
Do horses have nipples?
Nay. That's
We're off to a fantastic start.
we're killing it today, guys. We're killing it. Are we number one on your Spotify wrapped up?
Maybe this year, probably not next
maybe
year.
not
though.
next year. That's right. We're gonna take that faith you have in us, and we're gonna put it into a mortar and pestle, and just blow it into the East River. All right. Hey, everybody. We're. Dude, I'm in a weird mood today. This is gonna get wacky.
Yes, it
We're
is.
moving on to our first segment.
Our first segment.
It's everyone's favorite segment, the absolute most favorite segment. Everyone has been just clamoring about it in the chat, and just they won't shut up about it. That it's their abject favorite. It's the part of the show where Adam and we have a list of 20 conversation topics that was been provided by our producer Brian. Producer Brian, who's the best producer in all of the world, who also has a dark secret that he won't tell any of us, but we can see it in his eye when he lies.
He's haunted by something.
He's running from it. But anyways, our producer Brian has created 20 topics of conversation, and I'm going to roll a 20-sided die, and we're going to decide what our first segment conversation starter is going to be. And everyone's favorite segment, Roll for Convo.
All right, bud.
I'm rolling. Here we go.
That'd be a good one.
8.
8.
8 made some milking.
Talk about your feelings about different types of shoes. Sneakers, dress shoes, chacas?
What are you?
Chacas? I don't even know.
I don't know what that.
I don't know what that-
CHUCC.
No, KK.
KK.
CHUKKAS.
Chuckas?
Chacas?
Is it choclas? Like sandals? Is that what he meant?
I don't know.
Well, I will say this. I hate chuckas. I hate them.
Let them know.
Yeah.
Boots, boat shoes, upscale sneakers, sandals, Crocs, laces versus Velcro, and anything else you'd like to bring up. Jay, let's talk about some shoes.
Oh, you know, I'm actually...
Easy hustle. Easy shoesing. I know we just hit the jackpot. Hustle Mando.
Yeah.
Hustle shoesing is freaking out right now.
I know. But what is your approach to shoes? I'm actually fascinated. Here's the thing. This sounds like a bit like topic of conversation.
What's the deal with shoes?
I'm actually curious to hear your because I feel like I have a lot of opinions on shoes, but I feel like they might be a little bit easier to discern. You, sir, I'm not so sure what your whole steez on shoes is.
Oh, okay. Okay, so I'll be 1,045% honest with you about
please be that way.
about my feelings about shoes. When I was a kid growing up, boy, oh boy, did I think that a new pair of shoes, if I just got the right pair, that finally people would notice me and they respect me a little bit, and like
fascinating.
Just like
really,
this is the thing, right? This is part of the ensemble. If I had like the pumps, oh my god, I got the pumps. Like these are so cool. People are gonna like me, and like no, I'm like I'm a cool guy too.
Huh?
Of course, that never happened because that's not what endears you to other people.
I had a very similar experience. I got these blue suede Airwalks.
What?
In 8th grade. I was really into Airwalks. I still am. I like the, like, you know, I have those DC. I love skater shoes because they're so comfy.
Are they?
Oh, yeah, man. Oh, yeah. Especially DCs with the big fluffy tongue. Yeah. That's a sentence.
Jay loves a fluffy tongue.
And how?
Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up.
Yeah, I don't even know how to skateboard, but I love skater shoes. But I got these suede blue Airwalks, and they were like, in my mind, they were my ticket to acceptance. But the thing is that they were suede. And so I was so worried about water damage on these shoes that I would go out every night, and like clean them and like water guard them.
Oh, wow. Every night? Water guard every night?
That's not what you're supposed to do.
No, I don't. Yeah.
But it became a complex that like,
Yikes.
yeah. Like it was something I had to overcome to the point where like a couple of times ago that I went home and I was like, "You're wearing suede shoes," and I was like, "I am," and I'm not worried about getting them dirty. Mom was like, "Okay, great, just double checking."
Okay.
So I understand that completely. But here's the thing: when you're a kid, shoes are important. They're a status symbol.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Basically, that's what it is. Yeah, status symbol.
So what were the shoes that you were going for the status symbol?
Well, I had pumps. I played basketball for
pumps, like the Reebok pumps. Yeah, those were fun.
Those, you know what? They actually worked. I don't know if you ever had pumps, but like,
oh no, they definitely did.
Yeah, like
there's a reason they stuck around. I'm shocked they still don't make them.
I know. It actually tightens. Like it feels tighter on your foot. You feel more stable in the shoes. Like this is great.
They probably were secretly killing people on accident.
Maybe they were cutting out the blood flow to people's feet or something.
There's probably some NDA out there as to why pumps went away because
Reebok
it's
had to stop,
maybe the most iconic shoe Reebok has ever made.
But like, you know, there were Nikes and there were, you know, and Reeboks was mostly the two shoes when I was growing up in school at least. And I never wanted Air Jordans because I thought that was like, well, I'm not that type of basketball player and not that good.
But also the time in which you were growing up that Air Jordans were kind of weird looking.
Mid-90s, yeah.
Yeah. I didn't the early Jordans are the best, and then it's after that it's kind of a mixed bag. In my opinion. Don't come at me in the comments. I know there's a lot of sneakerheads out there that are going to rip me to bits. But
yeah, so then I got to college and I realized, I went through all of high school and these shoes didn't do anything for me. This was not the key to finally, you know, unlock being able to talk to people and get them to like me and for acceptance. So it's clearly not the shoes. I should just be wearing shoes that make me feel comfortable.
Yes. That is a wonderful transition of the human spirit when you finally are like, no, I'm going to get shoes that like I feel good in and give me proper support, and your whole life changes. Yeah. The extent to which I wore Chucks, like Chuck Taylors.
Oh, okay.
For a large amount of high school, knowing full well that they had no support.
Oh.
And we're like, and I was like, man, I'm having all this like back problems and everything, and my doctor was finally like, because you're not wearing these shoes, you're basically just giving yourself stone bruises with these shoes. Like these shoes are nothing. Yeah. You'd be better off wearing nothing.
So I in college and then a while into my 20s, I was wearing New Balance.
Oh.
Until
I didn't realize you had kids.
Exactly. Until that stigma showed up and it was like, oh, but these are sensible shoes that actually cost pretty good.
But they feel so good.
They do feel good. And all of a sudden, like, oh, yeah, these, yeah. Our
producer Brian also was known for wearing New Balances.
Not worth it. Not worth it.
They make some styles that are pretty good. Brian had some
good
styles.
And that's the thing. Like, I like a very surprise, Jay. I don't like a fanciful, very colorful shoe.
Surprise.
I just need a couple of colors.
Really? Come on.
Just a couple of colors, like, you know, that looks kind of cool, but at the same time isn't like, oh, cool. This is a cool sneaker.
Yeah,
right,
I like my shoes to look like I was just trampling. I just like trampled through a Lisa Frank folder, like setting.
Sure.
Yeah, I want them to be. I want to be outlandish and outrageous. I like a shoe that does the talking.
Understand that? Yeah.
Are you a boot man?
Well, I am now.
Okay.
Because I moved to the city and then I started, you know, it's like, all right, so New Balances are, you know what, they're comfortable, but like I don't that's not who I am though. I'm
Yeah.
not a guy who wears. It's like so. Okay, I got something like more of a sensible like active shoe.
Yeah.
So there was there was some Adidas, no, but mostly like Reebok or a Nike that isn't like a Jordan. It's more like just like a cross trainer type of thing.
Yeah.
But then I ran into New York winters and realized that those shoes are not meant to be worn for about 4 months of the year, and I needed an actual boot. And so I started trying to figure out, okay, a boot. How do I wear a boot? I've never worn a boot before. And then I started wearing boots, not like cowboy boots, but like normal like weather boots.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I like boots. I'm a boot guy now. I have one pair of boots. I've had it for so many years, but I really like wearing boots.
Yeah. That's the thing about New York City is that like apparel starts to fall in line with what you would use a car for in a certain circumstance. In that like I realized I had to be a lot smarter about what bags I would use in New York.
Yeah.
They needed to be more ergonomic
Yep.
and they needed to be more like because it's a lot of stuff that I would normally just like throw in the back of my car and drive somewhere. Whereas like, yeah, boots, I wasn't really a boot person until I moved to New York. And then I love a brown leather boot.
Oh, a brown leather boot.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
I like a boot that I like a boot that is like an more elevated version of a construction boot. Like a work boot.
Interesting. Yes.
But a little bit like a step up from like a work boot.
Sure. Yeah.
But yeah, it's mostly just they're snow tires for people, and they're watertight usually. And that is, and the ones that I have that I need to get like completely refurbished are steel toe too.
Ooh.
And that is, I got to be honest with you, that it's a game changer.
Steel toe boots.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, those are mandatory for construction sites, so you don't get your little piggies crushed.
Yes, but it's just walking around New York City in steel-toed boots, it's a totally different ballgame.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I've never done that.
But when it comes to like now as an adult, I'm either I like a boot person, or I'm a boot person, or if I'm wearing sneakers, it's usually Adidas. That's like my go-to.
Yeah,
just because they fit my feet right.
Mm-hmm.
Like you find like I love Pumas as like from a design perspective.
Okay.
They do not make shoes for my feet.
Do you have a wide foot?
Yes.
Ah.
Yeah. Whereas like I love a shell toe.
A what now?
They're the
the ones with like the ridges on the.
I
front?
affectionately call them Scott Pilgrim shoes.
Yes.
They're the shoes that Scott Pilgrim wears. I have a pair. I wear them here
Yeah,
often.
that's what. Yeah.
Those the ones with the red stripes that I've kind of
Yeah.
like beat to absolute hell. Yeah. Those are probably my favorite shoes, like writ large. Other than I loved wearing Chuck Taylors back in the day because I would draw on them because I was that kid.
That makes sense.
Yeah. But
Yeah. Yeah, the only other type of shoe I have right now is like a cross trainer type of thing for working out. If I ever, if I go back to the gym, if I ever feel comfortable going back to the gym, I would wear it there. Or when the weather is warmer. But like as soon as it's like it gets rainy, nope, boot. Winter, boot.
Yeah,
like
it's boot.
I can't wait to wear jeans outside because I can wear my boots.
Yeah.
I can wear my boots. Maybe we
Yeah.
need more boots. But
I mean, you could wear your boots with shorts. You just look like a psycho.
yes, and I don't do that.
Yeah.
Sometimes I wear jeans in the summer just so I can wear my boots.
Yeah. I'm also, and this is something that Adam knows about me, but the Peaches probably don't know. I am a once my shoes come off, I'm not at work anymore person. I don't know. You probably haven't noticed this, but so for the longest time we just wore shoes in the house at our house, and that was just how we did it. Because like if I take my shoes off, I like mentally just kind of shut down. But Kimberly and I have decided in our new apartment that we want it to be a you take your shoes off house, just because we actually have carpet in this new place.
Yeah, that's a whole different thing.
But so I have been taking my shoes off when I come to Lashy's house, which
I have noticed.
Which I know is something that he has always wanted me to do anyways, but has been politely just let me wear shoes in his house.
Because Amanda and I don't.
I'm trying to get over it, but I do take my shoes off and I go, no.
Hold no, but it's
I'm like, oh no. We're here to work. Do it. But yeah.
How do you feel about Velcro and laces and stuff?
Laces are important, and I think Velcro is not sufficient.
No. I mean, if you're like a little baby, sure, Velcro's fine.
I just don't understand. Like, I understand the function of Velcro, and I'm not here to dunk on anyone that has
Velcro's great, man.
That like benefits from a Velcro.
Sure.
But like, I have the ability to tie shoelaces, so I would always prefer a shoelace.
Yeah.
I do also, however, tie my shoes in such a way that like I can slip them on and off without having to tie or untie them.
Really?
Yeah.
Then why are you tying them?
So their laces don't go everywhere?
Okay.
What?
I feel like that's the whole point of laces. Then just get Velcro, man. Or just get a slipper.
Lashy, I cannot. I can't believe that I have to explain this to you, that there is a difference between having the laces to a point where you can slide your shoe on and off and it's still like comfortable and fits properly, and Velcro. They're wildly different.
Okay.
I would argue that Velcro is more work than tying your shoe properly in a way that you can put them on and off without having to tie them.
Okay.
I like my shoes to be tight enough to wear properly and be safe, but also I don't have to bend down to take them on or off.
Interesting.
Yeah. I know you're a tie your shoe person. You know
Damn
why?
right.
Before every time, if I ever meet you here to go somewhere, it's about a 10-minute process watching you tie your boots.
We gotta lace them up.
See, what I do with boots is I like getting the shoelaces. I like getting boots that have the little teeth.
Oh, yes. Mine
I will have them like laced up in the shoes,
Yeah.
but then I will have it.
the little hooks or whatever.
The little hooks.
Yeah.
I will get the shoe to a point where I can link the shoelace.
Mm-hmm.
I can link the shoelaces like through the hooks
Yes.
on its own, and then it will be tight that way.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like a little like flick of the wrist
Oh,
to get the boot tight.
sure.
But then I will get it to there, and then I will just simply tie a knot. And then I will wrap the shoelace around the rest of the I had really long shoelaces on these boots.
Sure.
Wrap the shoelace around the boot and then tie it off there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. But if it wasn't that long, I would probably just get it to a point where I could just put it on the hooks and it would be tight and good to go.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't really wear sandals or flip-flops. Because just that doesn't really, open-toed shoes in the city don't really work. I haven't been to the beach in a while. I think I do have like a pair of sandals.
When
but,
was
like,
the last time you went to the beach? I'm just saying. I think you are. I think you are.
I mean, I have sandals in my closet.
Really?
I could get them out.
You're leaning on the barriers of the word while. I guess is.
Over a decade.
Yeah, that's longer than a while.
Oh, it is?
Yes, in a while. If it's more, a while to me would indicate a couple of years max.
Okay.
But you're saying, I haven't worn sandals in a while. It's been 10 years.
Probably.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and I just.
An open-toed shoe in this city? Are you insane?
Absolutely not. I do it from time to time. Sometimes.
Okay.
But at the beach, yeah, I'm wearing flippity.
Go to the beach, yeah.
Flippity, floppity. If I'm anywhere warm or if I'm on vacation, your boy's in a flippity, floppity. Oh yeah, ooh la la.
Makes sense. Yeah, I don't have many shoes. I used to have a lot of shoes, and I was like, you know what? A boot covers everything. We're good. Don't care enough.
That's fair. I have a lot of shoes. Do you like dress shoes? I hate them.
I hate them.
I hate them.
I have 2 pair that I wear for like with suits and stuff like that, and I probably should get a new pair, but like I don't care enough.
I look for any opportunity to wear a sneaker to
I'd rather much wear a sneaker to a fancy event.
Yeah, I will purposely dress up everything else that wearing a sneaker with it feels like a choice, like a stylistic choice, and I will like plan my outfit around the ability to wear sneakers rather than a dress shoe.
Absolutely.
I tried to wear sneakers to my wedding, and my mother and mother-in-law like completely had lost their minds about it. They were like, absolutely not.
But I want to be comfy. I want to be standing all day.
I wore sneakers to the reception,
That's good.
but they were like, "You're going to be in a church. You're going to wear dress shoes to go get married in a church." My mom was like, I can't believe I have to explain this to you.
But it's my wedding. I do what I want.
I understand, but that it wasn't worth the fight. So I just put on I was like, I am changing into whatever I want to wear the minute this is over. And I was like, that is perfectly acceptable. I'm just letting you know.
Boy, I would have worn sneakers.
But the circumstances would have been wildly different.
Sure.
You wouldn't have been in the circumstance that I was.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one of the one things about Doctor Who that's always kind of like, how is this not a thing? One of the reasons why I like 10 so much, and I guess now 14,
Because he wears Chucks.
is because he wears Chucks. But even Chucks don't, as you have because you have warned them.
Yeah, they obliterate your feet.
They don't have good.
They're not good.
They're not
For
good.
the amount of running that gentleman is doing.
Yes.
Those are not
for the
right
amount
shoes.
of running the Doctor does.
I will say
you
this,
would
though.
think.
He's a time traveler. If he went back and was going about as someone who bought a pair of like Chuck Taylors from the 1970s at an estate sale one time, they were a lot different.
Oh, okay.
It was a lot. They had a lot more support back in the day. But like when they started, like when they had their resurgence in like the late 90s, early 2000s, they were a much different shoe.
Yeah. But like seeing this guy and or woman walk around, running around like in a heel or just like in a dress shoe, like. What are you doing? Like, do Time Lords have more stronger arches? But just for the actor, like, guys.
Yeah, dude.
I
don't know how Matt Smith
didn't
like twist an ankle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know
He's
how to
wearing like loafers.
I don't know how to pronounce the new guy's name, and I don't want to butcher it. But like, I saw his outfit, which is really cool. But like, he's got like a boot going.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, how are you gonna run in those boots, man? That looks like it might hurt.
I will say this about Jodie. Her boots seemed like they were sufficient.
Practical?
Yes. Like, those were some, like, maybe not the most, like, running on pavement boots, but I was like, she's got to cross some terrain. She's going to be able to do it. So good for her.
Running for monsters, yeah. It's just one of the weird things I picked up. I was like, it's like, always run. Just run for the monsters. But it's just like, but man, you guys are like, your footwear is not really.
Yeah. I'm actually glad we talked. I'm glad this was the role for Convo because we haven't. I don't think we've never actually talked about.
We've never
this.
discussed shoes.
No, because I think they're weirdly both important. They're both casually very important to us.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you could argue that most people have pretty that's one piece of clothing that most people have pretty serious opinions on. Yeah. It drives Kimberly crazy. We'll go shoe shopping and I'll be like, I don't see anything I like, and she's like, just you need a good shoe, and I'm like, nope.
Yeah.
I was like,
I will know when I see it. My mom was the same way. I was like, let's go shoe shopping. I need new shoes. Great. Did you see anything? I'm like, nope. But you don't even. Yeah, I don't see anything I would put on my foot.
There are sometimes I agree that sometimes you just have to try something on, and then you can't see it until it's on your foot, and I appreciate that. But there's a lot of times where it's like, yeah, there was one time where they had shell tops and they had shell tops that were on sale, but they only had the black striped ones, and I was like, no. Kimberly was like, they're on sale. These are the shoes you love. I was like, I want a colored stripe. She's like, what color? I was like,
not black.
Not black. She's like, that's the stupidest. And I was like, I am aware that it's
I don't know
stupid.
what to tell you. Yeah.
I am weird. Like, I know it doesn't seem like it fits my vibe. I am actually, when it comes to certain things, I am very particular. Like, it drives.
No.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I draw a lot of weird lines in the sand. See, you know that about me, but I don't think the peaches really know that. Yeah, I have a lot of, I'm on a beach with a lot of lines drawn at a lot of weird places.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And a lot of it doesn't make sense. A lot of them are bisecting. Yeah. And then sometimes the water just comes and sweeps them all away and it doesn't really matter. You know, who's to say?
Who's to say? But yeah, I'm the same way.
Yeah.
I'll just walk through a shoe store like, man, there's nothing here. But no, I don't see anything I like. It's got to look good.
It can't be that weird. I feel
catch
like
the eye.
Yeah.
Just like, no, it's got to catch my eye.
Although, is there anything better though than going to like Designer Shoe Warehouse and just and not expect? A lot of times I'll go in there with Kimberly not expecting to buy something and just seem like, oh, these shoes are $10, and I was like, hell, for $10, yeah, I'll get a weird shoe that I'm not totally sure about for $10.
I have never impulsed bought a shoe.
Oh, I definitely have. Like those gray DC skate shoes that I have. I bought those as an impulse, and they're delight.
Well, that's great.
All right, I think we should.
We should probably get into Home Alone before we
could
do
talk
a whole hour on
We
shoes.
really could talk about shoes. All right, hey everybody, we're talking about. Well, we're writing Home Alone, Home Alone 3 trilogy. But before we get into Home Alone 3, we should probably check in with our producer Brian, who provided us a wonderful shoes question today. You gotta love Brian, even though we're not sure what he does at night.
Yeah,
but there's screams.
We don't know what shoes he wears when he goes out and doing mischievous things.
Yes, indeed, when he slips into the Phantom Realm and performs his machinations. I don't know, man. Brian, why don't you tell us all about the Home Alone franchise when you roll that beautiful bean fun fact footage?
Happy holidays, everybody. Today we're trying to fix 1997's Home Alone 3. Directed by Raja Gosnell and written by John Hughes, it stars Alex D. Linz. This movie cost around $32 million to make and made a little over $79 million at the box office. But first, when it comes to 1990s Home Alone, there's a lot of wild stories like how it switched studios mid-filming. But I'll get to the basics. It cost $18 million to make and made $476.7 million and holds a ton of box office records. On Rotten Tomatoes, it has a 65%, which seems insanely low, but it has a 3.8 average out of 5 on Letterboxd. Now, when it comes to 1992's Home Alone 2, Lost in New York, it cost around $28 million and made $359 million at the box office. On Rotten Tomatoes, it has a 35% and a 3.4 in Letterboxd. Both were written by John Hughes and directed by Christopher Columbus. Now, here are some Home Alone 3 fun bean facts. Home Alone 3 was pitched at the same time as Home Alone 2. So they were going to film both at the same time, but those plans fell through. So in the mid-90s, when they were ready for a Home Alone 3, where Kevin would be a teenager, Macaulay Culkin was on an acting break. So the script was reworked for a new cast and new characters. A young Scarlett Johansson is in the movie. And if you care, Home Alone 3 has a 32% on Rotten Tomatoes and a 2 average out of 5 on Letterboxd. In total, there are actually 6 Home Alone movies. Home Alone, Home Alone 2, Lost in New York, Home Alone 3, then the rest were never released in theaters, so you have Home Alone 4 from 2002, Home Alone, The Holiday Heist from 2012, and then Home Sweet Home Alone from 2021 that went to Disney+. The third one was that last one released in theaters. Also, to nip a few things in the bud, it's Duncan's toy chest, and they're the wet bandits in the first one and the sticky bandits in the second. But before we throw it back to the gentleman, I want to address some things that were said earlier on the podcast. Like, Jay, I also have a very love-hate relationship with Love Actually. And the actor's name is Andrew Lincoln, and yes, he played Rick on The Walking Dead and Mark in Love Actually. Now, the actor who played Marv in the first 2 Home Alones, his name is Daniel Stern, not Stearns. And the Reebok pumps went away because the novelty wore off. People weren't buying them. They sat on the shelves and then nobody wanted them anymore. I wore a lot of New Balances for the first few races as I am a runner, or once was. Maybe I still am. I don't know. Now I wear and love Brooks sneakers for both everyday and running. I love a good pair of Cole Haans, though. Very comfortable. I'm very flat-footed, so I love super feet insoles. Those are game changers for me. That is not an ad. I love my Birkenstocks. I will wear one pair all summer and completely ruin them. And I like Keens for any of my outdoor summer adventures. And I agree with Jay about slipping on and off your sneakers while they are tied. Totally makes sense to me. And the new doctor's name is Shudi Gatwa. Thank you. Back to you, you filthy animals.
Good job, Brian.
Great job.
There are more
Ryan.
Home Alone movies than you realize.
There sure are. And how?
Yeah, I think there's 5 or 6 of them now.
I don't know. I looked on Disney Plus and I was like, this is too many. This is too many. This is too many for straight to video. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
like, if they kept cranking these out for major motion pictures, I could understand that.
Did 3 go to I don't think 3 was in theaters. I think 3 was the first to video, and then after that it was just straight boom, boom, boom,
Maybe
boom,
Brian
boom.
will let us know. but
Or he already did.
you already did.
Good job,
oh,
Bri.
man, that's how time works, huh?
That's how time works.
That's weird.
Wibbly wobbly.
Wibbly wobbly.
When's Loki episode 6 dropping?
It already came out. In case you're wondering, everybody. Oof. So Home Alone.
Yes.
Where do you stand on these pictures?
The first movie hit me like a bomb.
Okay.
Because, oh boy, did after coming back from seeing that movie, did I immediately drop war plans for my house? You goddamn right I did.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Oh, come on. Coming up with, little schemes and plans and traps and stuff like that. I loved MacGyver growing up. This is my jam.
It's so interesting. I feel like this actually like perfectly describes the difference between you and I. This movie also impacted me greatly, and what in lieu of thinking about how I would trap up my house, I got more excited about imagining all the fun stuff I would do if I were home alone for a while. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, yeah, I'd totally sled down the stairs. That'd be great. I'm like, we can make a blanket for it throughout the whole. We can make the whole house a blanket for it.
I totally shaved my prepubescent face and put on aftershave and
Yeah,
find
dude.
out that like, oh my god, I've just put like, alcohol on an open wound.
I'm like, oh, I'm gonna fill my yard with snowmen and like make them have a big fight like Calvin and Hobbes does.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's so many wacky and fun things I would do if I didn't have stay up late and watch spooky movies and eat junk food. Yeah, that's what I would think about.
That.
And
yep.
you were too busy murdering
absolutely.
your mind,
Yep.
Joe Pesci.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah,
that makes perfect sense for me. Yep.
sense.
Yep.
I think it's the kind of thing where it's like watching through Home Alone with the Discord. And if you haven't joined the preview Discord, may I thoroughly recommend doing so. It's the best community on the internet.
Yeah, it's popping off.
And it's popping off, and the watch alongs have been so fun. Every Wednesday night at 8 p.m., I watch along whatever we're doing the next week. Unless sometimes I don't.
It happens sometimes.
There's been a couple of weeks where it's just like, are we doing it? I'm like, I don't know, guys.
Probably not.
With the move and everything, life was crazy. But anyways, I digress. Watching along, I was like, it is so fascinating to me the reverence that this second movie structurally has for the first one.
Oh, well.
I was like, they almost like this second movie almost like pulled out, like it basically like pulled out a blueprint for how you make a Home Alone movie.
Yep.
And like it seemed like I was like, oh, Hughes like very clearly deems these aspects of these movies to be important factors in a Home Alone film, to the point where I feel like writing this third one is not going to be that difficult because we had kind of a roadmap.
Yeah, there's a formula to it.
And honestly, sometimes when you can see the formula in a movie, it can be frustrating and it can take you out of it. And I don't know what it is about the second one, this second Home Alone movie, that like spotting the formula feels comforting.
Yeah.
And I don't know why that is.
Well, because you know the story beats. And sometimes you want a story that you know the beats to. You don't know exactly what's going to happen, but you do know the beats.
Yeah.
So you can kind of like sing along with the song.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah. You follow the bouncing ball.
Yeah.
And that in and of itself is really fun. And it gets to a point where it's like, how are they going to do this aspect differently in this movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, that's what good sequels are. You're doing the same thing over again with a twist, and as we've seen in some really good sequels nowadays, or just we just watched the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem this morning. Of like, we know what a turtle story is. Yeah. We know what an origin story of the turtles is going to be. We know what the beats are. How do they arrange the beats? Like, oh, this was great. We know what the beats were. We didn't know the order. Yeah. This is fantastic.
And
I love this song.
This movie highlights more than anything the difference between the second movie in a trilogy versus a movie sequel. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is maybe the sequeliest of sequels.
Yes.
Full stop. Writ large. I'm talking across, like, this is like how you make the same movie but different. Like, it's scientifically
the top of that list.
Yep.
Like, there's no arguing it. Because it's like, I'm like, oh.
What happened in the first time? Great. We have to make the same thing happen slightly differently. Kevin makes it to the airport. Oops, wrong flight. Oh, he's on his own, but not at home, in a hotel that he conned his way into. Oh, neat. Well, he's got to trap a house. Empty brownstone in the city getting refurbished.
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
Seems like that whatever contractors they hired are not doing a very good job. I'm aware that it was Christmas time, but that place didn't look like it was being actively worked on.
It did not.
That place looked abandoned.
Yes, it did.
Now,
it did.
Here's my question for you. To what degree did the concept of a talk boy like basically encapsulate every aspect of your fiber and being as a kid?
0.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man, I wanted a talk boy so bad. It was so cool with the weird little futuristic little microphone that you'd pull out. Oh boy, oh boy. And then you could play it back at different speeds and it would make it sound like a robot. Oh my God. What a treasure. I never got one, but I wanted one.
Sorry, bud.
Yeah. Yeah. I would have been to quote my mother, I would have been an absolute nuisance.
Yes, you would have.
I would have been a nuisance.
You absolutely would have. Yes.
And I was like, I believe the word she said was menace.
Mm-hmm.
And she is 1,000% correct.
There are the presents our parents did not get us because they knew full well what we would do with them.
Yes.
And they were right to do so.
Yeah. There was never any kind of voice amplification or recording of any kind gifted to me because it would only encourage me to talk more. And I needed time to eat and sleep.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah. Yeah. There's sometimes where it's like when people leave comments on our videos like, why do they talk so much? I'm like, because I got a big mouth. That's why. And that's, if you don't like it, you can take a hike. This is because my mama didn't buy me a talk boy. That's why we're doing this. Huff my nuts, bro.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you like the second movie?
Like the first time I saw it or this time around?
Just in general.
I think it's fun. I think it's nice. It's comfortable.
Okay.
You know, it's honestly like Home Alone 2 is a solid casual, like fast casual burger.
Okay.
Home Alone 2 is a Five Guys burger.
Oh.
Is it the fanciest thing you're ever going to eat? No. Is it the most adventurous thing you're going to eat or interesting? In no way. But is it an expertly crafted like constant? Yes.
Huh.
Like a burger is like it's a Five Guys burger is just a cheeseburger, but it is a very well done cheeseburger.
Interesting.
And I think, I think that's what Home Alone 2 is. I don't love every aspect of it, but I would be damned if it wasn't like beat for beat, like doing what it's supposed to do.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I did not like the second movie.
You didn't? Okay.
Only because like the first movie is so good and it was like such an original idea of a kid dieharding his own house, basically. That when it gets
There's
to
so much more to it than that, though.
Oh, there is. You know, him, learning to be on his own and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But like the second one, everything up to the third act was like, oh, okay, this is fun.
Yeah.
This is fun. I don't know why the Slippery Bandits are here. I know because it's a sequel they need to be, but even as a kid, it's kind of like, this feels forced and not organic to the story at all, which then led into the third act of like, oh, well, this is a Home Alone movie. He needs to trap up a house. We did not get here organically. It just
I would say it got there about as organically as they could pull it off.
Oh, I think yes, they got there as well as they could, but it did not feel like, oh, we kind of have to do this. So, okay, I guess we're doing this.
I felt like we had the one choice this movie could have made that could have made it more fun, but probably would have made it from a production perspective way more of a nightmare, and quite frankly, a lot more expensive.
Okay.
I think they had a perfect opportunity for him to trap up that toy store.
Whoa.
And then we wouldn't have the move to the second place.
Mm-hmm.
I think we trap up that toy store, and that's the whole thing.
But I think for some reason, I think that the move to the other place feels to me like a production move.
Possibly.
'Cause
I mean,
it's
that
an
was
easier
FAO
set.
Schwartz, I believe, or a facsimile of.
It's supposed to be a
FAO.
facsimile of, yeah. But I think we missed out on a lot of opportunities for fun. However, the one thing that this movie does, it is not as, I will say from a storyline perspective, I think the second movie is honestly not anywhere near as strong.
No.
I think like the connection that Kevin has with his mom and the stuff that we see about like his mom trying to get back and going through that doesn't hit it anywhere close to as hard.
No.
However, I will be damned if they do not take the trapping up the house formula and crank it up to 11. Like they one up all them pranks.
Well, those guys are dead.
Oh yeah. Those guys are dead. It's Marv and
I don't remember the slippery bandit's name.
it is Daniel Stearns.
Yeah.
Daniel Stearns takes 4 bricks to the face, in which one would have killed him.
Mm-hmm.
Like they
is
wouldn't have made it in the front door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, which is the difference. The first movie is that seemed a lot of horrific violence, but
Yeah.
like survivable.
Yeah.
Like the top of his head got a little flambéed.
He put an entire car battery onto a that would have completely.
Well, he turned into a skeleton.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I love that move.
Just go full cartoon?
It's corny as all get out, but I do not care. It's like when they're in planes, trains, and automobiles, and they are driving on the wrong side of the road, and for just a split second, John Candy's dressed up like Satan.
Yes.
And just ha 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 ha. It's the best. I love it.
But yeah, those guys were dead.
Yeah.
Multiple times over in that house.
Yes.
It was just like, oh. I mean, ha 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 ha. Oh.
I don't know. The two of them, Daniel Stern and Joe Pesci, truly do not get enough credit for being like physical comedy, like geniuses.
For selling those bits.
They're wunderkind in that. They are everything from a physical comedy perspective. I was just watching it with a Discord by myself, and I was finding myself laughing out loud at like Joe Pesci trying to get up the ladder and him just falling off that ladder. Spectacular. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about people just like there's something about someone slipping and going fully horizontal and then falling that like I think just activates your lizard brain to a degree that I was like that's a terrible thing to laugh at, but I can't help it. They're nailing it.
Yeah.
It's that 4th brick because the thing is you expect the 3rd because it's comedy in threes. Then he gets one more.
So they got away with 2 movies.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? Fine. This is kind of, the nice with the lady at the end in the park, and I was like, oh, the pigeons. Like, okay, this is nice. The family shows up. Okay. So we can't do this again, right? This is we got to be done with this. They can't repeat this formula again, right? You're right. You're right. We can't. So we're going straight to video and recasting Kevin McCallister and just doing the first movie over again. We're gonna do the first movie over again and again and again and again and again.
Yeah, it's really kind of buck wild.
It's
such a strong pedigree of film to like fall. It's like how all the Lion King sequels are just trash. They're absolute trash.
Yeah.
Like it's like you started. Why would you? What? I'm so glad that Disney got away from we'll do some sequels, but we'll put them straight to video. Got rid of that model. Like with Frozen 2, I was like, yes. I was like, please and thank you.
Do something. Yeah.
We like these characters. We'd like you to work hard again on another movie.
Have an original idea for them, please. Do something meaningful with them.
Please don't make Homer Simpson the genie. If you don't have Robin Williams, just don't do it. Sounds great. Nothing against Homer Simpson, but
I did not know he did that.
Oh yeah,
I didn't know he was the voice.
Robin Williams got mad because Disney was a company.
Oh yeah.
Like every time I've heard the explanation of that whole thing, they were like, well, Robin got mad that they were selling Genie toys. And I was like, well, as someone who bought a Genie toy, it was really important to me because he was my favorite character. And like, I really saw a lot of myself in the Genie and I really liked it. And I really identified with it. He
talked a lot.
But like, I'm glad Robin Williams got mad about
and
that. I don't know. He was like, can you believe Disney's selling toys to kids? And I was like, yeah, okay, dude. Like, he's one of my heroes. Don't get me wrong, but like that's one thing I'm just like, I can't. I think he was just still mad that he had to leave Fern Gully for it, but whatever. Anywho's, we didn't leave Fern Gully, but he had to. It's not. I've watched way too many Robin Williams documentaries.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember like once a week that he's dead, and I get sad. Anyways,
speaking of sad things, all the Home Alone sequels.
Yeah, they're terrible.
They're terrible.
They're not great.
It's just they've already nailed it. They nailed it once.
It's not gonna be great from the poster. I mean, let's be real.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, oh, we're not going to do any. This is not even close. We're not even gonna try to do something.
No, they really don't. It's what was it? There was the fourth one, like Home Alone 4, defending the house or something.
Let's look it up.
It was like they stopped putting. They didn't put numbers there. They just kind of started coming up with subtitles or whatever. But they're all just the same freaking movie over again, and it's not even like a new idea of how to get people into.
No, I think Home Alone 3 may have gone to theaters. I think it may have.
There was Sweet Home Alone from 2021. Home Alone, The Holiday Heist. There was a Home Alone 4. Looks like someone's carrying a knife. I think that's a horror film. That is a horror film. That's a horror film that someone tried to. I see what you did there. Nice try. Weird. It's actually a horror short. Never mind. But they could never. The formula was so good the first time, or the idea is so good the first time. They barely did it justice in the sequel, and just couldn't come up with any new twist for it.
Yeah.
For any subsequent movie.
Well, it's like what happened with the Ghostbusters sequel. I think they didn't realize what actually made the Home Alone movies click. It's not about defending your home creatively. It's about having a home worth defending.
Aw.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because in the first movie, he's like, I'm not going to let these guys, like, hit my house. Like, he realizes the importance of, like, his home. And, like, he misses his family. And he's like, my family needs to come back to this house. Like, I'm not going to let them take it.
Well, it was twofold. It was a kid, like, having to survive on his own, and the comedy around, how do I do this without, having somebody ruin this for me because I've never been alone. My family's too big. And he figures it out. Oh, at the same time, I got to defend it from these burglars. Okay, that was fun. But and then the second one is like, that was the part I enjoyed. I was like, of him like, okay, I'm in New York City by myself in the mid-90s. I should not be here. I am too young for this, but I'm going to figure this out because when is this ever happening again? I do have a credit card. Okay, here we go. That part was fun. It's the trapping in the house. Like we did. I mean, it's a Home Alone movie. We needed this, but like that took away from the actual fun, like character growth of being able to do something on your own as a kid.
Yeah.
That was the cool part of the story for me growing up, and then it's just like, but then after that, no, it's like, oh no, it's the trapping in the house. Like, no, those were fun, but it needs to come organically, and it's not okay. Okay, so here we are with the same movie over and over and over again.
Yeah.
So Kevin McCallister deserved another movie.
Yes. I'm shocked we didn't get another one, considering what the budget was versus what these movies made. It's like it doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah,
it probably was because they probably just couldn't get Macaulay Culkin,
or they didn't even.
That's
try.
the only thing that makes any sense.
He aged out of what they thought the movie was about.
Yikes! Yeah, probably. My fix actually tackles that.
Oh, okay.
Which I like to think that my movie is going to be something that bridges Kevin McCallister or Macaulay Culkin from child actor to kind of like into young adult actor.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
We also could just take a second to just appreciate how weird a name Macaulay is.
Sure.
His name is Macaulay. Who's named that? Macaulay Culkin.
What's his brother's? Isn't his brother's name like
Kieran?
Kieran's brother is definitely named.
People are named Kieran.
Not many.
More than Macaulay. I don't think you've ever heard anyone else named that.
I've never heard anyone else named Kieran.
Oh, I know. I mean, I know some Kierans.
Do you know some Kierans?
Yeah, I know some Kierans.
I don't know.
You don't know me. You don't know what I'm up to. I'm hanging out with Kierans all day. every day.
Are those Irish Karens?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They're the ones that call the police
Oh.
when you don't pour the Guinness right.
Ah.
bunch of Karens.
Bunch of Karens.
Kieran. All right. So
you-
who's going first?
I think you're gonna go first.
I'm gonna go first.
You're gonna go
Okay,
first
great.
because I'm interested in hearing this bridging of the age gap
Okay.
because my movie definitely does not do that.
Okay.
I have a much different idea.
I'm going to keep my fix for a Kevin McCallister led Home Alone 3 is still going to come out when the other Home Alone 3 came out, which was 1997.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Macaulay Culkin was born in 1980, which means this movie came out in 97, means that Macaulay Culkin will be 17 years old.
16, 17, yeah.
So it's gonna be a little while. There's gonna be a little lull between these movies, but
Yeah.
we need Macaulay to age up a little bit for
Sure.
a very specific reason. My movie opens up. We like the shot. It's crossing like this really like gorgeous lake. And as we're crossing the body of water, and it's like you getting like the Home Alone. I think we got to keep the theme a little bit like dun dun dun, but it's not Christmas time.
It's not Christmas time.
It's not Christmas time.
Oh my god!
And so maybe there's like a little bit of swipe, like a change in the music to like
Sure.
change the theme into like a little bit more of like a summertime cover.
It's summertime.
And we cut in and we see like a full on canoe race.
Okay.
Across taking place across this lake with all of these kids. And it comes to light that we are seeing a canoe race at a really 90s-esque, because this in like the mid to late 90s was a big thing in movies.
Canoe races?
Summer camp, yo.
Oh,
we are taking
summer camp.
Home Alone to summer camp.
Okay.
And we are seeing
All right.
the like kind of popular and sporty kids dominating
Sure.
this canoe race, and then we are seeing we see the kind of like nerdier kids and the outcast kids who are in their canoes, and they finish last.
Of course.
Like maybe one of their canoes gets sunk by one of the other. We are shown through this canoe race that these kids who are inevitably become our main characters are kind of the downtrodden at camp.
But they don't have any upper body strength.
Yeah, they're the nerds, the
AV
weirdos,
squad, yeah.
you know, the geeks, and so we like the boat race is over, and we find out that they're bunk 13.
Okay.
And everyone calls in like the unlucky,
Of course they are.
like the unlucky cabin because they're bunk 13. And we find out like they get back to their cabin, and we kind of get introduced to some of these characters, some of these kiddos, and they get back to their bunk, and we find that their camp counselor is Kevin McCallister.
Oh
a
my
17-year-old
god.
kid. And he's like has some like wild stories about stuff, and they never really believe him about things. And they realize that it is they're having like a big pageant tonight. Like the camp is almost over, and they're having like kind of the end of camp pageant. And when they get to when they all are taking part in the pageant, and it's all around like a big bonfire. And we find out at the pageant that it's the end of the camp itself is kind of for underprivileged kids.
Oh, okay.
And so it's we find out that like everyone's kind of home life is not necessarily great or doesn't exist. Anybody at this camp. So we find at this pageant is actually for Mr. Dudley or whoever owns the toy store.
Oh, okay. I see. Yeah.
And because he knew that Kevin had written him a letter about this camp for underprivileged kids, and he comes, and instead of donating to the children's hospital that year, he is donating to this camp for underprivileged kids.
Oh, that's nice.
And so there's like, and it's like a big cash donation. He's like, I always like to do it in cash. Blah 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 blah.
Bum bum bum.
But throughout the course of the pageant, we get our main character girl. I'm just gonna call her Annie because I like that name. Annie is embarrassed by some of the popular during the pageant, and basically she runs off and has like throws a temper tantrum similar to Kevin does, and maybe like ruins the pageant writ large. And Kevin is sent to kind of like have a conversation with her and kind of discipline her a little bit, even though it's the end of camp. And we get one of the key features of a Home Alone, of like a Home Alone movie, in that we get Annie talking about how like this is one of the like few fun things I get since I lost my parents and moved in with my grandpa.
Aww.
This is one of the few things I get. Like, I don't know why I didn't just get to like enjoy camp like everybody else. Like, I just wanted, I'm not going to apologize to them. Like, they ruined my camp. Like,
Yeah.
I just want to come to camp by myself. And Kevin's like,
I want to camp alone.
I want to camp alone. Yeah. Or be careful what you camp for. I don't know. So and Kevin's like, be careful what you camp for. But then we get it's the last night of camp, and so everyone's kind of saying their goodbyes and doing all their things, and we see everyone going back to their bunks for the night, and everyone's getting packed up. The next morning, there is a storm overnight.
Bum bum bum. Flash flood.
And much like another tentpole of a good Home Alone movie, you kind of need a believable way to convince that they got left there by themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone is leaving and everyone is packing up, but the storm that night basically knocks a huge tree over the path to their cabin. Mm-hmm. And you have the grounds person, who is played by Rob Schneider again. Let's just keep, but he's playing a different character. Let's keep Rob Schneider involved, even though I don't think politically he has deserved the right to be in our movies. But this is before he was a total nightmare. Anywho's, but he is chainsawing the tree down, and so they are stuck in their cabin by a fallen tree, but no one can hear them in there. And it's the kind of thing where it's like a tree falls in front of their cabin, locks their door in, and they can't get out of their cabin. But also there's other trees that are getting chainsawed by the grounds crew.
Sure.
So they can't get out of their cabin, and no one can hear them calling for help because of the chainsaw.
And everyone else is out.
So they clear out the camp, and everyone leaves, and they're like, oh, okay, great. Like, oh, in camp bunk 13, it's like, oh, oh, great. Yeah, I think their bus already left.
Already cleared. Yeah. The kids are gone. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
That's why we saw it. Yeah, that's why we saw it down.
After the scene they had last night. They probably wanted to get out of here early, so they're already gone. And then honestly, a good amount of our second act is us just getting to know our Bunk 13 camp members a little bit more. They are getting to have a little bit more of a relationship with Kevin. But Kevin decides like, well, we're stuck here, and they turn a lot of the power and phone lines off. But like we can have fun at camp. Like, let's just have a good time until someone eventually comes back and finds us.
Yeah,
we might as well have fun while we're at it. So we get kind of the camp nowhere. Like they get to do all the fun stuff.
Yeah.
Like have the big dessert party and all that fun stuff. Food fights. And from a camp perspective and with other kids doing it, it's fun.
Yes.
We find as they're like playing capture the flag, I think they're playing like a big capture the flag. This is like kind of towards the middle of the end of the second act. There's always been ghost stories about Poison Ivy Pete.
Poison Ivy Pete.
And he lives out. He's like the neighbor of the place.
Okay.
And Kevin's like, oh, no one's coming back. Like maybe we could talk to.
Poison?
Let's go talk to Poison Ivy Pete.
Sure.
They're like, we can't go talk to Poison Ivy Pete. Like, he grows all the bad plants. Like, he likes the bad plants.
So some say they're sticky.
Yeah.
Others say they're icky.
All the while, they go and try to talk to him, but get scared away.
Sure.
Because he's got poison ivy. He's Poison Ivy Pete.
Yeah, his plants
all the while
funny.
in this second act, we realize that another fish truck opens in town, and and we see the what I am calling now. They're going by a different moniker, the Camouflaged Bandits. Marv and
Oh my God!
oh yeah, it's them
bringing
again.
Oh wow,
Dude, absolutely.
Okay.
They escape from jail the same way in the back of a fish truck. They show up in town. They see a newspaper that
Okay.
Mr. Dudley or whatever is
Sure.
giving money to the underprivileged
camp,
underprivileged kid camp, and they're like, well, the money's still probably got to be there. Let's go get it.
It's getting him.
Yeah, and so Kevin kind of Kevin gets to a point where he spots them scoping out the place because their camouflage is not very good for the Camouflage Bandits. And so it gets to a point where they realize that they're what is about to happen, and they are going to have to defend the camp. And so we can take it to 11 in that I'm thinking that there's like one, like the nerd kid has got like a Rector set stuff.
Sure.
So he like engineers he engineers something crazy. I like the idea of him being like, well, we got paint cans, and it's like, also, if you just kind of like have this little thing in this little chemical in there that if it breaks on impact, it'll explode. So we blow these paint cans explode.
Sure.
Let's murder these idiots.
Again.
I'm talking like I want to see Daniel Stern get like an oar to the face like a bunch of times. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like I really want to see him get oared to the face. I'd like to include a bear if I could. A lot
my God.
of camp tropes.
Yeah, sure.
But eventually the two of them chase all of these kids, and they have to make their way to Poison Ivy Pete's house because this is another tent pole of these movies.
Right.
You need to have like an exterior person that they change their judgment on. I'm not sure why that's part of it, but I think it's
Yeah,
fun.
this happens to be, yeah.
They sneak their way into Poison Ivy Pete's house, and they like kind of spook him and scare him, and Annie, our kind of like lead girl character, like is the one that kind of stands to Poison Ivy Pete, even though he's like, oh, we find out that he's a botanist.
Yeah.
And there was a big misunderstanding the last time they came by. He's like, I thought you guys were a bear. Like, you guys should have said something. No one said anything.
Just here at my greenhouse.
Yeah.
Tending to all my
He's got a
crops.
greenhouse, but he's also got stuff around his house. And we find, and that's where we kind of have our meaningful connection. And I think this little girl is the one that has the meaningful connection with him. And they kind of start the conversation, and at some point Kevin interjects, and he's like, yeah, like, you know, near my house, like there was like this old guy, there was this old guy that like we kind of misjudged. We thought he was like killing people with the salt and stuff and blah blah blah. And Annie like picks up on the story, and she is like, I knew I recognized you. You used to live next door to my grandpa. And we find out that she is the girl from the first movie that comes to see him with her parents when he's like, I needed to reconnect with my son, if you remember.
I do not remember this at all.
Because him and Kevin have that conversation in the church, and like he helps Kevin out. And
Right.
Kevin is like, hey, man, like, you know, if it were when Kevin is starting to learn that he misses his family.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, you know, like you only have one, like, you know, it's Christmas. Like you should reconnect with your son. You should figure it out. Like if you were my dad, like I can't imagine if you could do anything to make me hate you, like kind of thing. It's a very healing moment. And I think we realize, so she's technically in the first movie.
Wow.
And she's like, yeah, like, you know, like you're the one that convinced him, like convinced my grandma to call my dad. And that was the last Christmas I had with him. And now that grandpa's sick, like, he can't really take care of me anymore. And Kevin's like, oh, well, we need to figure, like, I didn't know. He didn't, like, he moved away, and I haven't seen him since. Like, you know, it might be time to reconnect. So we find out they have that connection, and we find out that, you know, and then we have a fun little connection with Poison Ivy Pete. And then also, that's when our two robbers try to invade that house, and we get to see Daniel Stern take a ton of poison ivy straight to the whole bod.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I like the idea of him getting completely like I want him
obliterated.
I want him to be completely like puffy and red by the end of this.
Ugh.
Yeah, that's like a camp nightmare.
That's a funny visual.
Yes. I would imagine that Joe Pesci is going to go in or around an anthill at some point.
Oh.
I like to believe that the penultimate thing is that or like the last kind of thing that scares them away and eventually allows them to get caught is that Poison Ivy Pete, he also raises bees, and bees like poison ivy, so that's why he has it. He puts, I like the idea, because he thought there was a bear and there is a bear out there.
Sure.
He drops honey on them and the bear shows up.
Oh no, they get revenanted?
Yeah.
Revenanted?
Yeah. And then they all get back. The owners of the camp realize that something is wrong, and they come. Oh, you know what? I'm missing something, and I want to fix that.
Okay.
I like the idea that in lieu of Kevin's mom coming to find him,
Yes.
let's have the grandpa who is taking care of Annie
Mm-hmm.
in that first movie,
Mm-hmm.
from the first movie. He's the one that's trying to come get his granddaughter,
Yeah.
and sure. I didn't think that one necessarily all the way through, but for the time being,
Sure.
So basically, I'm turning Home Alone 3 is we get an older Macaulay Culkin who can kind of like facilitate
Yes.
these other kids kind of taking the torch.
Mhm.
So you can continue on with the Home Alone thing if you want to go nuts with it, but there's almost like it's a transition movie.
Yeah.
Of
A
sorts.
passing of the torch.
And also in the late 90s, people went nuts on camp. Wow, they went nuts on camp. There are so many camp movies from that time frame. I think it would have done gangbusters. Yeah, that's my Home Alone 3.
Home Alone 3.
Yeah.
Camp all alone.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's great. That's super simple.
Yeah, and it's totally sellable.
I mean, yeah, and better than the one they did of just redoing the first movie.
Well, let's say yeah. I mean, we've argued this to the nth degree, but I feel you.
Changing the formula just a little bit. Okay. So my fix. It's a little different than what you did.
Okay.
So I guess it is 7 years later, right? Because it came out in 97 or whatever.
Sure.
It was 5 years later.
97 was when the third one came out. 92 was when the second one came out.
Okay. So in my third Home Alone movie is like, you know what? Let's actually just wait a little bit longer, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Because my Kevin McCallister third movie he is in college.
Okay.
He is a sophomore.
I already know what you're doing. I know what you're doing.
He is a sophomore in college, and he's away at college. He's a sophomore in college. He's getting an engineering degree, but
Okay.
his school
Engineering degree. That's clever.
it's far from Chicago.
Okay.
It's a very far away place from Chicago.
Yeah.
And
Nondescript college town.
probably maybe in the northeast somewhere. Probably in the northeast. Let's keep it in the because again, storms. The weather is going to play an impact here.
Yes.
He wasn't sure if he's going to be able to make it back home for Christmas.
Okay.
Just because when the school ends and finals and the weather was like, he wasn't sure, and so he's in communication with his parents. They're like really sad, and he's sad too because he wants to come home, but like he wasn't sure if he was going to be able to make it or not.
Okay.
But it turns out that at the last second, he is able to find a flight. He's like, you know what would be a great surprise for my parents? Is that I surprise them that I come home for Christmas.
Oh, that's nice.
That's nice.
Yeah.
That'll be a nice surprise for them.
Okay.
So he doesn't tell his parents he's on his way. Unfortunately, with his parents not knowing that, they come up with another plan
To go surprise him.
to go somewhere else to have a holiday with the family somewhere else.
Okay.
So they go somewhere else for Christmas, but they feel bad. They don't want to tell Kevin because, if we're all going somewhere else and he's stuck at, college town, like, we don't make him feel bad, so we just won't tell him. That's okay.
Okay.
I wish him a Merry Christmas.
Honest, I would say they could communicate better, but I also realizing the track record of this family.
Yeah, they're just trying to spare him, like don't want him to feel bad. So I figure we have like a little, 2 scenes interspersing of them both secretly kind of going to a different location and they could pass each other at O'Hare Airport.
He's also the youngest, so like he might there maybe no one came home for Christmas and his parents.
Yeah,
were
his
just
parents
like,
are
go.
Yeah, no, they're going somewhere else. Yeah, they're going to a destination Christmas. So my thought was that there would be a snowstorm about to hit O'Hare, and like Kevin's hoping that his flight's one of the last ones in, and his parents are like the last ones out. So we could see them like comedically crossing paths without knowing it in O'Hare as they arrive and leave at the same time.
That's fun.
So Kevin gets home. It's probably a few days before Christmas, and realizes oh wait, but no one's home. Oh damn it! What the? So he tries to figure out what's going on. Eventually figures it out. But he's like, well, all right, I guess I'm home alone for the holidays again. Well, it's all right. It's because he's like 20 at this point. It's like it's not. Oh, it's okay. It's perfectly fine. Not that big of a deal. At least he's home. He can reminisce about all the adventures from home and stuff like that, and we can kind of like have him, kind of tell us or see how things have what has happened to his family in the past a little while. Meanwhile, though, as Kevin is now home alone, unfortunately, we see the children of the Slippery Bandits staking at the McCallister house. And they're like, you know what? Our parents, our dads, were almost murdered by this family. So you know what? Our parents our fathers are still in jail. We're gonna make a name for ourselves. We're gonna knock over the house that
They'd never expect that it was us.
Yeah, that our fathers couldn't. We're gonna rob this family blind. They deserve it for what they did to our fathers, and they're gone. Perfect.
Sure.
We're gonna take it for everything they had.
Yeah.
So now we have our two antagonistic forces are all set up. So Act 2 is basically kind of similar. Kevin's home alone now, and but he's a college student, so we get to kind of see like what Kevin would do as a college student, just finally kind of alone and like it has time off from all those college duties.
Yeah.
And also we kind of see his education at work. Like Kevin is smart.
He's an engineer.
Like
That's cool.
He's good at this.
That's exactly what he would get. That's the degree he would get.
Yes. Meanwhile, like the Slippery Bandits or the kids are like scoping everything out. So it's kind of similar to the first movie of what they're doing, what the bad guys are doing. They're scoping out the house, trying to figure everything out. Kevin does eventually get in contact with his parents. I was like, "Hey, guy, I'm actually home. I was trying to surprise you guys." And they're like, we must have just missed you because we went to." Oh, Kevin, I'm so sorry. It's like don't worry about it. This Chicago got snowed out. It's all good. I love you guys.
A frat house Home Alone.
Oh, okay.
Okay, but it's just college age.
It's just college age Kevin.
Oh, okay.
So he's home by himself. His parents know where he is.
That wasn't me disparaging what you're doing. It's just that I did say earlier, "Oh, I know what you're doing," and then I realized I Chekhov's gunned it, and I didn't mention.
Oh, interesting. So Kevin then figures out that's like, wait a second, because he's an adult. Like he can, he's not quite an adult. He's not 21 yet, but he's like,
he owns a gun. He's an adult. He can just shoot them and move on.
He recognizes like, wait a second, is this seriously happening again? So he's like, sees the the crew scoping him out. Oh, by the way, it's not just the two of them. They have a whole crew.
Oh, okay.
It's going to be a siege. This
Ninjas.
is not just two people. It's like
Gotcha.
no, we brought a bunch of friends with us to knock over this house. So Kevin's like, okay, well, I'm gonna go to the cops. Hey, cops, my house is getting staked out. Kevin McCallister, remember me? And they're like, oh yeah, Kevin, we remember you, and we don't believe you. Seriously, dude? Seriously? Come on, man. Like your parents are gone. Okay, but like you think Kevin, nothing's going on, and we're not gonna. Everything's busy. We're overworked as it is. We don't believe you.
Yeah.
So Kevin's like, okay, well, if you're not gonna believe me, it looks like it's up to me then. So Kevin calls them out, goes and talks to them, like, hi guys, I see you. Like the security of the house got upgraded after your fathers did their thing. Like, you're not. This is dumb. Please don't. There's no reason. Go spend time with your families. This is what the time of year is supposed to be for.
Yeah.
Like I'm by myself. Oh no. But like, please don't.
Yeah. I will defend myself if
Yes.
you make me, but we don't have
We
to do this.
do not have to do this. Please don't do this. And they're like, typical young people. It's like, no, man, we're going to show our fathers what we're made of, and we're going to make a name for ourselves. We're going to take you down. Now, we know this by yourself. That was a big mistake, because it's not just the 2 of us. It's like the 12 of us. Kevin's like, seriously, guys, seriously, don't do this. I'm warning you, don't do this. Well, that was a mistake. It's like,
I will kill you.
oh, now we're going to do this. It's like, okay, I warned you. And so, end of Act 2, Kevin, like, pulls out his old plans for the house, right? He's like, drawn in crayon and stuff like that, and he just pushes that all away and then rolls out that blue blueprint paper. I was like, I'm an engineer. I've gone to college for this. I know what I'm doing. Yeah. And then we just see Kevin montage that he sets up, like, MacGyver level, like,
booby traps.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
And so Act 3 starts, and it's a siege of the house of 12 different people coming in from all different sides, and just Kevin's traps just methodically wrecking these fools. And it's not going to be lethal like the second one. It's a PG-13 movie.
Well, it was comedically lethal. They never made it feel like it was anything other than a cartoon.
Sure, but the first movie had a certain level of the violence and the damage the traps are doing, and the second one was like a little bit too, for at least for me, was a little bit above, like, whoa, okay.
I don't know. For me, them taking it that much farther down, like, the rabbit hole, actually, to me, it didn't impact me as much because it felt more cartoony. Whereas, like I will take him getting shocked or falling a bunch of times over him stepping on those Christmas ornaments. That still, to me, feels visceral and upsetting in a way. I fundamentally, like, I had to not watch it when we were doing that watch along, because I was like, I can't watch him step on the ornaments. Dude, that glass is so thin. It's like that goes into your bloodstream. Like, it slices you all the way around.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Woof. No.
Didn't even think of that.
Ugh. Anyways,
so we'll see some broken femurs, because I know Jay likes it, and some twisted joints, some puncture wounds. Because it's a siege.
Yeah,
but
man.
Eventually, it's 2-on-1. The last slippery sons versus Kevin. Kevin uses his intelligence and his MacGyver-esque skills at this point to disarm them. Then his family comes. The cops finally show up because they heard a disturbance at the McCallister house. They're like, "You were telling the truth." Like, guys, yeah, I'm not. Guys, I'm over this. I don't want to be the kid that does this.
Yeah, I'm trying to not be this kid.
I'm going to school to be an engineer because I liked it, but I don't want to use this knowledge for. I mean, you know what? But actually, I'm actually pretty good at home security.
Yes, and I think if we're gonna add an overarching, like, emotional message to this. I think maybe he decides to go home for Christmas because he's not having a good time. May I retcon just as something for you?
Sure.
Maybe he's not an engineering major.
Okay.
Maybe he's doing, like, he's just general studies. And throughout him having to build all of this and design all of this stuff, and, like, I like the idea of the cops showing up and then one of the cops seeing his blueprints and going, "Man, you should be an engineer." And Kevin goes, "Yeah, maybe I should." Huh. Thank you. Like, it helps him decide what he wants the rest of his future to be. Maybe his future is kind of like he's not really sure what to do with himself.
That makes sense. I like that.
Yeah.
And his family comes home a couple days later and they have a late Christmas.
Yeah.
And it's all really nice and happy.
It is hard to interject the like the one tentpole that I think we both missed is, like, that feeling of family. It's hard to interject into a third one.
Yeah.
Because, like, I feel like that I feel like we're living in a world in a third movie in which a family forgets one of their kids. I think the concept of the importance of family values kind of completely falls apart. You know what I mean?
Once is understandable.
And and if anything, meaningful when they come back together.
Sure. Second time was like,
all right,
okay, you almost got him there. There was some outside stuff happening. He had some agency and actually did an accidental thing. Okay, but if anything past that, you are negligent parents.
Yeah. I will say them. Rewatching that movie, the two of them being like, we've never even lost our luggage, and them both going, knock on wood, at the same time. And I was like, this is truly, Yeah. Yeah, that was hilarious, but also, you guys are bad parents. Bad parents.
So that was my good version of Home Alone 3.
I'm sorry, what?
I kind of wrote out in my head not quite good, bad. It's a different Home Alone 3.
All right, party on.
So you weren't entirely wrong about the frat house.
Okay. You did give me a weird face when I saw it, and I was like, I don't think I'm wrong.
So here's a different version of Home Alone 3. Kevin's still at college.
Okay.
He's in a frat. This is his freshman year, let's say. He pledges a frat. He gets in. He thinks everything is fine. But the frat, they're kind of assholes. They kind of tease and haze him just a little bit too much.
Okay.
So over the Thanksgiving holiday, because everyone has break at Thanksgiving for that week, college, Kevin does not go home. Kevin stays at college.
Traps the house?
Well, we're going to find out a couple weeks later, just as finals are over. And everyone's partying at the frat. It's like, we get to finally go home for Christmas. And then all of a sudden, nobody can leave. And throughout the house, just a series of diabolical and personal traps.
So it's a Saw movie? Yeah. So you're writing a Saw movie?
Kevin McCallister, in this version,
becomes Jigsaw?
All right. Because he could do it. If there's any character already in fiction before the Saw movies show up, Kevin McCallister, given the wrong circumstances and just a little, pushed to the edge, could become Jigsaw.
Yeah, that tracks.
And so Kevin but we said the whole first act is them like, oh no, we're actually rooting for the villain in the movie because these guys are jerks. These guys deserve what they're about to get.
Yeah.
And Kevin just methodically walks them through the house as they all try to get out and just one by one get what's coming to them.
Oh shit.
All in the frat house, and because it's Christmas time and no one knows.
And then
And then Kevin goes home for Christmas. But Home Alone 3 is Saw 1.
It's Home Alone 3. Keep the change, you filthy
Keep the change, you filthy animals. Because that would...
Or filthy... Yeah. Home Alone 3, filthy animal house.
Because that slow descent, like, okay, college is great. Woo, we're gonna go home. We all did finals. But the door's locked, and all of a sudden the knob starts heating up, like and just all of a sudden, just everything starts to turn, and they're trapped in a Christmas decorated trap house.
Yeah,
you pushed Kevin too far, man. And you shouldn't have done that.
I also thought about. I thought if I was gonna do a crazy fix, it was gonna be Doll's Home Alone.
Dolls?
Like a dollhouse. Like we combine Honey, I Shrunk the Kids with Home Alone.
Sure.
I don't even know how that would work, but why not?
Dolls.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
But that's one of the things. Like what was it? Charlie from the Chocolate Factory being the guy on the
Snowpiercer. Yeah, I love that.
Is the same type of thing as like, are you sure that Jigsaw is not Kevin McCallister?
You sure?
Because like he could be. It would. I mean, it's not that far of a departure. Maybe in another timeline.
Yeah.
I don't know. That could be it. That would be very interesting. He has a sense of justice.
And the American way.
That's how you celebrate American Christmas. You trap criminals in your house and torture them with interesting mechanisms of your own creation.
Well, I think we did it, bud.
I think we did do it.
We fixed it. What are we doing next week?
Oh, it's funny. I should mention
that's
Charlie
right,
and the Chocolate Factory.
That's right. We are doing next week. We will be fixing, or we will be writing whole cloth a sequel to Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. I know there's technically already a book version in the Great Glass Elevator, but we are going to be writing a sequel to the movie writ large, as there are certain aspects of the Great Glass Elevator that are already incorporated in that movie. So,
are there really?
Yeah, it should. Yeah,
oh.
Well, the Great Glass Elevator for one thing.
Yeah, I never read it, never watched it. I have no idea what's in it.
It's not a very good book.
Cool.
Honest to God. But since the new Timothy Chalamet movie is coming out, we're going to be writing a sequel to the Gene Wilder Willy Wonka franchise, which I'm looking forward to, as it's one of my favorite movies of all time. Good.
Yum yum.
But thank you guys so much for listening. If you were listening to this wherever you catch your podcast, if you wouldn't mind leaving us a quick review, maybe 5 stars, please. And thank you. I like reading them. They make me happy. And if you're checking this out on YouTube, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, hit that bell, do that YouTube that you do so well. Guacamole's extra. You getting hit in the face with an oar, loving weirdos you. And as we end every single one of these episodes, heartbreak feels good in a place like this.
It's the slow, silent paint can that you'd never see coming.
Yeah, they took that pipe right to the dump.
Yeah. Haha, we know what's going on.
And I laughed and laughed.
They don't need to get hit with a pipe. They just then fell whole floor.
They fell 20 feet.
Yeah.
You know, killing any normal
to death. To their death.
Yep. Happy holidays, everybody.
Happy American Christmas.
We'll see you guys next time.
Bye.